Hello, my lovelies. I'm Ginny O, the author with no last name, and I'm also a dev editor, fashion designer, and game dev. And this is Star Stable Month. So I want to talk about the reasons why players quit Star Stable. By their own release numbers, only 3% of the 21 million players who have subscribed to Star Stable log in and are active every month. In this video, I'm going to try to work out the reason why 97% of the players who pick up Star Stable leave the stable. I'm of the opinion if Star Stable Online wants to be taken seriously in the gaming landscape, then I'm going to treat their game seriously like every other game in the industry, holding it to the same standard. This means they might not like what I have to say very much. I'll try to be as objective as possible. The reason a player quits can be quite personal, from not having enough time or simply growing out of the game. If you're making a game, you want to have a few of these player quit points as possible. So let's talk specifically player quit points in Star Stable. No indication of fulfilling promises. And let's get back to housing in the nail salon for a second. These were promised, but not promised in the game. Star Stables took stuff out of the fingerless glove system. At one point, the fingerless gloves would give you nail polish, and in return, they announced at the Jorvik Mall there would be a nail salon coming so everyone could have nail polish. Because later they took out you had to wear gloves all the time. I mean, as you'd suspect, players were really excited. Turns out it was a Friday project, and despite this being years and years ago, it's never materialized. When a section of Jorvik City opened, they gave the players furniture and a bucket of paint. There was a furniture store in one of the sections. This implied to the players player housing was coming. Everyone was excited. They have been promising for at least 2 or 3 years now they were going to update the player character to fit in with the third or fourth generation of NPCs. In the end of 2020, they promised 3 things, some more vaguely than others. New race mechanics, a glow-up of the Dark Core riders with story involving them, and again, the updating of the player character. They also promised when they updated the player character, they would ask for player feedback. Given the Frisian fiasco around the look of the Frisian and it was pretty much done by the time they asked for feedback, I don't trust it. Well, early October, a player asked and got told, "We can't tell you. It might be this year, it might be next year." Which is it? There has been hype for 9 months. They haven't bothered to quill it. This is the second year in a row they've gone back on, we're doing the player characters, guys, for realsies. So there are really 2 types of promises given when a player gets a game. There's the story promise. There's a promise in this game, there is a story and a goal to the story, and the company making the game is going to put out enough content to have a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. We barely, and I do mean barely, have a beginning of a story after 10 years. Here is another example where things have changed and the removal of nostalgia from the game. For years, up to 2020 and the introduction of Rohanan and Soul Riding and the current management team from 2019 onwards, for years the game story had implied, if not promised, the player character was special and perhaps the reincarnation of a Dean. Then, with Catherine's memories and soul writing, the new management team and writers have gone back on this promise and are saying anyone can touch the light of a Dean, so much so the player character, who can touch all 4 circles, isn't special at all. Thus, the original story promise, the story that got players excited and they bought the game for, is not going to be fulfilled. Player credit moment. Then on top of it, as a live service game, there are more promises these companies make. They're going to improve their game. They're going to add to the game because they want you for life. They're going to provide you with this ongoing experience to keep you interested in the game. Look at about any other major MMO. They have huge expansions and more character classes, and they add in life skills and professions and factions and a huge amount of map and sailing and so on and so forth. In my opinion, there is, after 10 years of this, absolutely no indication given from Star Stable Entertainment as a company they are going to actually ever focus on their game ever again and provide us with an end to the Garnak arc of the story. Since they want to say Pandora leads to different worlds, okay then, finish the story you've got, please. Nor are they ever going to improve their game mechanics and put in systems that are standard to every other MMORPG. This is how you lose older players. Sure, you might have gotten their money, but there really is no telling how much money they'd give you if you actually followed through on your stated and implied promises of the game. Myself, I bought the game. I gave them another $50 or so after I bought the game to buy star coins once. Then they started pulling the horses, not story bull hockey, and as a story player, the only support they get from me is server time. If they had carried through with their promises of the nail salon and keeping in yearly events and adding more story to them, like the fashion event and the luck day event and Valentine's, then yes, I would have given them more money. As it is, this is a player quit moment. Before I move on, let me put this into perspective. For 10 years, players have been giving Star Stable Entertainment ideas about how to improve their game. Basic ideas prevalent in other games of this time and type, and the only thing Star Stable has added of those suggestions is new horses. And I mean, it's taken 10 years. There are players who are noticing, are getting fed up, and wondering why they are bothering to give them ideas in every avenue they can, and quitting. And new players come in and repeat these very same ideas over and over and over again. There's no desire to buy new horses. They have shifted their focus from story and good game mechanics to horses, horses, horses. The horses have become so oversaturated that normal players with good impulse control, or players who, like me, who want black, black, and more black horses, we just aren't interested in buying them. I mean, okay, let me put it this way. They have too much of a good thing in the horses, and yet at the same time, not enough of a good thing. They have so many horses out, no one who is trying to buy them with the weekly allowance can keep up with them. At the same time, they aren't putting out enough horses to cover the basic color options different types of players would want. I'm not buying a Gen 3 Irish cob until they give me a solid black one. Solid. No markings. None. Zilch. There's two reasons why this is a player quit moment. One is the overwhelming feeling of not being able to keep up with over 400 horses in the game across 3 generations of art styles. And two, the designs, once you start looking at them across the different breeds, are really limited. They have some favorite types of go-to markings and designs. They had players demanding markings, so they started adding markings. And now they've got too many horses with markings and not enough solid color horses. The solution to this is fairly simple, and concept might be hard to execute given the way they set up their UV maps and textures of their horses. Allow the player to add and remove markings. It's just that simple. Many other games allow this. Not Star Stable, you get what you get. So if a player doesn't see the types of horses they want to collect, or there are just too many of them and they feel overwhelmed, or do they start with their very tiny stable that can't hold all these horses anyways and no way to see your horses as a herd in a paddock, then this is a player quit moment. Every update feels like a push to buy star coins. Greedy, greedy, greedy. So, with the new 2021 schedule of upwards of 6 to 8 horses coming out every month because of their horrible and lazy pellet swap system, plus 9 limited time events in the last 6 months, and since the Finn horse there have been 4 updates with tech, 1 was grind, 3 were not, 2/3 or more of the updates are pushing you to spend money in Star Stable. It's greedy. And at the same time, when they are pushing these updates out, they're usually one outfit in different colors because of their system. So there isn't enough of a good thing, and by that I mean lack of diverse tech options. This goes in 2 ways. Both visual style aesthetics, prices, and stat numbers. If you scroll backwards in the general store, the style you're going to see in the top is 99% horse girl. And this is the puffy riding vests and riding boots and helmets. The special events are putting out more items that are a strange cross between Regency menswear and Baroque military gear, which I think is supposed to be going along to a small degree with their Cantarella franchise that they seemingly have forgotten about. I mean, they've done less with the Knights of New Nespia, nothing at all with the mermaids. Oh, fad stuff. I hate it. Thanks. Players constantly complain about a lack of Western options. Western wear has been extremely neglected out of all the styles. However, in the older, less nice-looking clothes, there was a broader range of styles from cute schoolgirl styles to rock punk type styles, and even some athleisure hip-hop related stuff. Many, if not most of it, feels very pulled from a clothing catalog, very commercial, which is an insult. FYI. If you aren't a fashion person, that's insulting. If a player comes into a game and can't find clothes they want to buy to represent themselves in the game, Well, that's a play it quit moment. If they see NPCs wearing clothes they can't buy, that's a play it quit moment. There's a lot more players to this game than the horse girl style type. Star Stable is ignoring them. And I don't know why. They put the fashion element in there, but like everything else, it has to be updated consistently, which they were doing with the fashion show, and they took that out, so prices are set too high, the economy is screwed over. The second thing you're going to notice in the general global store is the prices. Almost everything. Over 50% of the items in the global store are set to the maximum Jorvik shilling allowance. The max amount of Jorvik shilling a player can have at a time is 10,000. Most of the items Star Stable has been putting out in the last year or two are between 9,000 and 10,000 Jorvik shillings per item, or they'll make them star coins only. The stats and the item price have absolutely no correlation. Most of the items now, if they have stats at all, are coming out with the max stats, so they can justify selling them at 10,000 Jorvik shilling price. A Jorvik shilling is worth roughly 4 cents in game economy, so a 10,000 Jorvik shilling items is worth $400 in the game world. If you think this is a bit nuts for clothing, especially, and I'm going to tell you $400 for a shirt is ready to wear, that's one step below Horror prices. I mean, $400 for a pair of riding boots would be really expensive, and really good riding boots. Most are about $200 to $300 on the high end. But if a saddle, which could cost $500 to $1,000 in real life, is costing the same amount as a shirt, the economy in Jorvik is yanked. And to give you an idea of how yanked, you, if you know what you're doing, can earn about 2,000 Jorvik shillings a day. To get that shirt, it will take you 5 days, and they do this during limited events too. This isn't counting opponent archaeology turn-ins. That changes everything if you're level 17 or over. So if a player comes in and sees an outfit that costs upwards of 40 to 50 grand of Jorvik shillings and finds out because they aren't a high level player with access to all the daily quests, it's going to take them a lot longer to earn those Jorvik shillings to buy the outfit. Of course, they might be tempted to buy star coins instead, especially if it's a limited time event. Or they might quit. If you don't have several levels of player clothing at different prices and different stat points for different level progressions, then, well, A, there is no visual progression in this game, but B, players don't want to do it at that level of grind and may not be able to spend the money to get star coins and won't want to, so they'll just quit instead. Since I can tell you from experience, most of the free stuff in the early game is pretty ugly and doesn't match anything. Real-world money-only horses want to get horses for reasons, but can only buy horses with real-world money, don't want to wait/be subscribed, pay $75 to get the store coins to buy those horses. Money can be used for other games with more and better content. Yeah, I know that's long. Now, the same can be said of horses, but it's even worse than that when it comes to the horses, because the horses, outside of the Rune Runner and your starter, and if you were lucky enough to get the free horse during the birthday event for 10 years, all cost real-world money, upwards of $30 to get. So you have to buy the game by either subscribing or becoming a lifetime member for as much as 75 USD, and then pay another $30 or more in order to get the horses you want in a timely fashion. So you can spend right off the bat upwards of $105 on this game for limited fetch quest content and a story you can get through in a few weeks to a few months, depending on how you play it, since they've rearranged their throttling. They aren't even going to get past the free portion of the game. They're just going to get in, see how everything works in Fort Pinta once they open it, and quit. There's no reason for many people to buy this game if the whole horse collection concept is tied up in real-world money and you can't customize the horse or breed the horse or do anything with the horse but race it and have it stand all prettily in your stable. There are better games out there with better, more diverse content for cheaper or the same price that are being updated in a better way. Bad customer service. At this point, I'm sure you're going, well, be positive. Tell them the problems. Tell them how they can fix their game. Get in touch with customer service. Well, there's the problem. Their customer service is bad. I mean, really, really bad. So the customer service and their game moderators and the translators are the same people. There has been indications they outsourced some of their customer service to other companies, but I don't know how long that lasted. Passive-aggressive. Customer service is extremely good at turning things around so it's the player's fault. Their main source of advice is to reinstall the game, even if the problem is obviously on their end. They have literally and cheerfully told players it's okay to leave. Star Stable will be here when or if they return. Big things are coming, they promise. You don't want to leave too long. They did a blog post after the Glassdoor reviews, and when you analyze it, you realize they don't answer the questions at all and make it the fault of the employees and the players. They can't even seem to answer simple questions that would just require looking into a chat log or the database about players suspended or banned accounts. To make matters worse, they are not helpful to those hacked. Their game security is, well, I guess you can drive a Death Star through it. And they refuse to take responsibility for the fact their security is so bad. And when players get hacked, instead of going to the server database like any other game or app and seeing when and where the player's account was logged in and what was sold to an account and just restoring everything and making sure the player can reset their password properly and, securing their end of things, they blame the player with the excuse the player must have given out their password or the password wasn't secure enough. The player may not even get their account back. It's even highly doubtful that customer service makes reports about bugs and player needs to the team and to the corporate managers because have to use the unpaid ambassadors to talk directly to the team to get bugs fixed. If you want a bug fixed in Star Stable, it is 100% better to forward this report to an ambassador who can then turn around and tell the dev team about the bug. This is absolutely insane. We know they code things in the easiest, shortest way possible, so there are tons and tons of bugs and glitches in SSO they don't want to fix until those glitches break the game enough they can't make the game or players can't play the game. They put things into the game way too early and have literally broken their own horse buying system. They might know about the bugs, but they don't seem to have a team who will squash the bugs before they're implemented into the game. So they are in this race of making new stuff for the game and then having to go back and fix the problems in the game. If they coded it right the first time, there wouldn't be any issues. It's corporate laziness. I have been told that the team knows all about the bugs from customer service after this huge runaround between me and customer service trying to fix something and them saying it was my end and not their end. Well, then why do I bother trying to tell you about this bug if you already know about it? And by the way, I updated everything. It still didn't fix it. In fact, it made things worse. And then months later, they updated the game and finally fixed the bug on their end. A buggy, glitchy game the team blames your computer on, and they're not their code, is a quit moment, especially for hardcore players who keep up to date in high-end computers. They might know more about the code and the back-end stuff more than customer support does. Hard to give Star Stable money. I left this to last, but this could be honestly the very first player quit moment. Star Stable is headquartered in Sweden. They haven't put in offices in the United States or a European office or Australia or any of the places they've released their game with language support and servers. Everything is in Sweden. And if you're a European player, this is fine for you, and there's probably some amusement on your part for what I'm going to say next. It is really difficult to give Star Stable money. Many banks aren't going to do the international transaction Star Stable requires. In fact, every time I've given Star Stable money, I've used PayPal. The simple answer to this is, by the way, put your game on Steam and let Steam handle the credit card transactions through the vendor they have. Not only would your game have a broader audience, more transparent statistics, and make it so much easier to buy star coins in the game itself. Star Stable doesn't want to do this because they don't care about transparency and they don't want to share their profits, and I guess they think they found their audience. But not being able to purchase the game easily is a player quit moment. And since this game has a subscription model to it, not being able to stop money going out of your account once they have this information is another quit moment, which I have seen reports of happening. Canceled subscription, it's not supposed to renew, but they take the money anyway, and customer service refuses to help. They shouldn't be saving credit cards and bank account information in this game targeted towards kids with a premium currency limited by limited time offers and fear of missing out anyways. This is a player quit moment, and a player, I'm going to give you a bad review moment, which is the last thing you want. Trustpilot and Common Sense Media have this game around 3, mostly for prices and shenanigans with their credit cards, which results in really bad customer service interactions. There is even a bug where if you buy star coins, there might be too many star coins showing. And if you spend those too many star coins, they'll withdraw the amount of star coins their bug put into your account and give the player a negative star coin balance. Yes, the player shouldn't spend more star coins than they've bought. They're trusting Star Stable, though, to do the correct accounting. On the other hand, this is a known bug by Star Stable, and if it happens, then that's their own fault because they haven't fixed it. They need to fix the bug instead of trying to punish the player by, say, if it's related to double star coin weekends, and they're giving the player double star coins even though it's not that type of weekend. I have no idea what's causing the bug. That's a theory. This is a player quit moment, punishing players for something that is Star Stable's fault. There are many other, more personal reasons why players might choose to quit games. These are Star Stable specific reasons, whether it's the grind, hiding the lack of content, or the inability to talk freely to your friends in a familiar world, or the app getting more mechanics as the gameplay of the main game regresses, as corporate creates more horses and expensive gear to get money, 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 and then uses customer service to blame players and employees for the company problems caused by management, including the inability to make it easy to buy the game. If you've quit Star Stable or are on the verge of quitting Star Stable, tell me why in the comments below. Thank you for joining me for this month's video about Star Stable. I'm going to be getting back to other things. I don't know if you've enjoyed it, but maybe you've learned something. Take care of yourself, my lovelies. Bless, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.